Brianna, you know a lot about this, and I just want to give some stats and bring you in. Active duty military members, this is as of 2023, male is 82.3%, female is 17.7%. And then if you break it down, women in active duty military, this is as of 2023, Navy is a little more than 20%, Army, a little more than 15%, Marine, a little more than 9%, and Air Force and Space Force, much higher at 21.4%.
Yeah, very well represented in the all-volunteer force here in the U.S. And, talking to people who are military connected, and I've just been talking to them kind of in the course of the last several months, and especially a lot over the last several hours about some of the things that were said today. One of the things we heard the Secretary of Defense say was that he doesn't want his son serving with troops who are out of shape or in combat units with females who can't meet the same combat arms physical standards as men. And I think that a lot of people in the military may point out that that's not something that is broadly happening. I mean, we should just be clear. It's not like women are being waved into these combat arms positions, right? There are no female Navy SEALs. There still have not been. There have been some women who've made it into the ranks of the Green Berets, into Army Rangers, not many, and they can carry a comrade in arms on their back, and there's pictures of them doing
Meaning
it.
That they already are held to the same standard?
They are held to the same standard. Now, that's not to say in a more broad sense there have not been some exceptions, but when we're talking about people who are in those kind of serious combat arms roles, that I think sort of the layman listening to what Secretary Hegseth is saying, that's just to be very clear, they're not being waved in to these positions. So I think knowing that, one of the concerns that I'm hearing from a lot of people who have national security in mind is, what is the message that is being sent to women? Clearly, they're a huge part of the military, and the expectation is they'll continue to be, and that they need to be. It's not just, they'll tell you, it's not just that it's a nice thing to have women in the military, it's that it's essential. The vast majority of young Americans are disqualified from military service, or they have absolutely no interest in serving. And this military runs on volunteers. So a lot of those people are women, and they're essential for national security.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, obviously Trump and Hegseth, they're showmen. They know how to put on a show. I always wonder, though, about, well, okay, what happens? Like, you're able to put on a show, but are you able to effectively direct the military and all of these very important things that need to be done? And even though Trump is saying that, going to these cities is preparation for the National Guard, is there some sort of cost to having all of these military units deployed across the country, like basically helping clean up the National Mall and things like that? Like, what if there is an actual emergency? These are the questions that I have.
I just want to add one thing to what Brianna said. It's not as though the women that go into the military are asking for a different set of standards. I mean, most women who go into the military understand that there's a high bar to meet. It's not as though you have all these women who are applying to go into the military and asking for leniency on this stuff. They also want the same requirements that there are for other soldiers. So I think this idea that, as you said, it's very small minority that are people who were getting some kind of leniency, but the idea as a whole doesn't really make sense.
And there's barriers to retention as well that women face that men don't face. I mean, the sexual assault numbers will tell you that as well. But also the type of combat that he is talking about, right? It really does evoke the global war on terror. And combat is shifting. And if you talk to people in the national security sphere, they'll tell you that. We see all these stories about drone warfare, AI, cyber. Yeah. This isn't necessarily the same kind of warfare that you saw in Iraq and Afghanistan. Yeah, and women are essential to that, just as are men. Smart people are essential to that, and that means women.
Such a good point. Brianna, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your reporting and expertise. Everyone else, stay with us. Coming up, the question is no longer, will there